Alright, here we go. Looks like we're, I'd say, close to on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead. But storms are starting to roll into North Dakota right now. Guess we'll just kind of chill for a little bit. Just go ahead and put music on now, I suppose. Hope everyone is doing well, by the way. So in regards to severe weather, so far it looks like everything's kind of going just about as we would have expected it to. Not much in the way of action throughout the course of the day. What I'm going to be most interested in is the potential for any sort of supercells that develop. So we're going to be on watch for, at least for these first couple of hours. Then we'll end up seeing the damaging wind threat really start to kind of propagate from this point. Alright, so I'm at it. Let me go ahead and get the audio set up on here. Computer's a little bit slow today. The internet's at least okay because I can tell that the stream isn't buffering, but still. There we go. Some music for you guys. I guess we'll just kind of wait. See what happens. If it stays slow, I might grab the guitar or something. I don't know what to really do right now. Might have started just a hair too early. There's a coin right here. Let me move that out of the way. It's a quarter I forgot to put away. Grab my phone while I'm at it. Guess while we're at it here, let's go and take a look at our warnings. It's a new layout with this update that we got from WeatherWise here. Oh, so we even have ranges in regards to our severe thunderstorm winds. That's interesting. I kind of like this. Kind of like this. The dominant hazard, of course, is going to be at the top of the screen. I like what I'm seeing so far. Hurricane warning. Oh. Okay, that's what that is. That's towards the Baja here. I was about to say, that's a little bit surprising. No, for sure, out towards the Atlantic, we weren't expecting anything. Go ahead and look at some different radar metrics for right now. Oh yeah, they do have a pro mode. I'll have to check that out. Definitely don't have the funds to do that at the moment. probably check out some reviews before I even consider maybe trying it for a month. Now, as of right now, I would say that nothing too spectacular on radar. There's not really much anything too spectacular on radar right now. But as we get later into the evening, I would expect things to continue to progress here. Radar cross section here. Ah, this is what we've been waiting. Oh, that's tempting. But I gotta get some groceries tomorrow. I'm running out of food in the house. Oh, daggone it. Ooh, I wish I could, man. Radar cross section, reflectivity X. Man, that's definitely something worth considering now. Because I would absolutely love to see something like that. Alright, so quick little voting poll for anyone that's interested. Somebody did vote already. Okay, nice. Appreciate you tuning in, by the way. Appreciate you, Beck. Yeah, I've been trying. This year's come with its challenges, but we're trying to keep the ball rolling here. It's always good to see you, though. Nice. I'm interested in that cross section in particular. I'm really excited for that. Hang on a minute. I'll be right back. Dinner came in. Came in a little bit later than expected. So I kind of had to improvise, but I guess a little later we'll eat. But for right now, though, that's good to know that we'll at least have some food for when things do start to pick up. We'll be properly fueled. But yeah, I've always loved the radar cross section. I remember seeing Dr. Greg Forbes and all those guys use it. So to have the opportunity to have that at my fingertips is it's kind of surreal. It's kind of almost like living somewhat of the childhood dream, even though really I kind of want to be out chasing this stuff more than anything. But I'm also interested in Reflectivity X and Max Reflectivity, seeing what that has to offer. So yeah, those are pretty much the oh, there's fast scan on here, flash reflectivity as well. Definitely seems like a really interesting update, to say the least, though. But yeah, I don't know how much it costs right now to upgrade from where I am now. Yeah, if I didn't have to get groceries, I would probably just have went full send on it. But I'm gonna be getting paid soon from work anyway, so there is that. But at the end of, well, not the end of this month, but at the beginning of next month, I'm gonna be out of town again for a wedding. Actually, I'm in it, and anyone that's curious, no, I'm not getting married. This wedding is not for me, but it's for my family. It's for one of my family members, and I was asked to be a groomsman. So, yeah, maybe. Well, probably. Well, you might. Well, maybe, if you're lucky, you might see a picture of a metalhead in a tux, which is a very unusual sight. It's not something I would recommend you get used to. It's not my thing. But this time, I will do it. For my brother, I will do it. Get my phone here. Really need to let it charge, if I'm being completely honest. Trying to see what other storm chasers are doing, at least those that I can't show on stream. I'm mainly just focused on trying to more or less just trying to get a read as to what is going on exactly. No pun intended, because Reed Timmer's out there. Also, rest in peace to Gizmo, and shout out to Reed for still having it in him to go out there. Can't imagine what he's been feeling these last few days. I've never had a dog, but I could just feel it. And then on top of that, Gizmo herself was a storm chaser too, so there is that. So all of us in the weather community loved Gizmo. So yeah, I mean, I'm not to the point where I could make a tribute about the dog, but still, we all loved her. And we're gonna miss her. All right. Now, one thing about North Dakota that I'm gonna mention here real quick is that cameras are pretty sparse over here. So, unfortunately, okay, there are storm chasers here. I just can't click their feeds. But, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot of visuals. I'll do what I can, but no promises that we'll get live views on this one. I don't have the same resources as some of us in the weather community do. At least not yet. We're working on it. We're a very small channel though, as you all know. Wish I could get a hold of some storm chasers out here though too. Also, just a reminder, NFL preseason's on, so if it goes slow, feel free to talk football with me. More than happy to talk sports. Absolutely love them. Speaking of which, let me see what games are on right now. I hope my team's playing. Yeah, my team's not playing. Alright. I guess maybe we'll get some guitars going real quick. Haven't played much today, so definitely not warmed up. So, gonna be a little bit on the slow side starting out, but I think, like I said, I think we started just about an hour or two early. But we'll just kind of make do with what we got for right now. Honestly, with the way the atmosphere's set up here, I kind of hope nothing happens. Let me go with this guitar. Change it up for you guys. Dang, I can't remember my open chord shapes right now. Sheesh. Okay, there we go. My mind's still kind of in drop tuning in I've been playing a lot of drop tune stuff lately, so. Okay, let's see. Who is this, by the way? Oh, that's Corey. Oh, I didn't realize Corey moved over to Weatherwise now. Oh wait, yeah, I do. Do have an observed storm, by the way, that has 60-mile-per-hour winds here. So this is just outside of Wildrose. This is going to be heading into Burke, Williams, and Montreal counties. This is moving pretty slow actually right now. It's at 30 miles an hour. I would expect if things go off here, the forward speed of these storms is going to increase considerably. I would expect to see almost freeway speeds out of these, possibly. If this really can consolidate, this would make a pretty powerful MCS. Because the environment out here, there is a lot of cape available. And I'll actually go ahead and show that to you real quick while I'm at it. Just give me a moment here so I can do just that. I actually have to pull up the models on here. I think that's probably going to be one of the next updates on this app too. Will probably be model data. I don't know if they're going to go pro with that, or if they're going to go with or if they're going to make that a plus thing. I kind of hope they keep that at plus. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you the amount of cape that we have available here, which has been really impressive, if I have to say so myself. I've been talking about this a lot throughout the week. Alright. Switch this around, switch that around. There we go. So this is the current, just about at current time when it comes to amount of instability. This is why a lot of us in the weather community have been really interested in North Dakota today. Look at these cape values. This is right along the border here. If we move this forward 1 hour, if it'll go, there we go. It's kind of staying south now. It's been slowly kind of trending the other way a little bit, but we still have an ample amount of cape here. But anytime you're above 3,000 joules per kilogram, that's a pretty explosive environment. When you get to about 5,000 plus, any storm that develops in that is going to have a little bit extra juice to it, or it's going to seem juiced. So I'm really interested in seeing what these storms will do once they get into this environment, because they're right about here right now. There's not as much instability available. There's some, but definitely not the hotbed like what we're seeing over here. Like, this is basically jet fuel for these thunderstorms when you have this amount of energy available. So really impressive to see that, and really intrigued to see how this goes. And again, here's a good look at where those storms are, and here's the cape again in comparison. The storms are a little bit further to the north here. once these storms enter North Dakota, that's when I think we're going to be getting into game on here. Trying to figure out what to play because I rarely play in this tuning, to be honest. I just recently started doing this tuning again. This is like what a lot of people call Jimi Hendrix tuning. So like with a guitar, you have standard tuning, which is basically this right here. I tuned it a half step down, so it sounds like, so this is what I'm playing in right now normally. This is like the tuning that Metallica plays in live, and it's also what Jimi Hendrix again was known for. Prince played a lot in this tuning. I don't play in it much, however. I've always preferred to go like a full step down. So I actually tune lower. So trying to find where everything is on here is a little bit trickier, even though I know where it is. It's kind of a mental thing I'm still kind of overcoming there. I guess while I'm at it, we'll take a look at the SPC outlook just to give you guys a quick refresher while I'm at it. Oh, forgot that I have the full screen up. I need to take that off. That was from last night's discussion. We're just now really starting to enter the enhanced risk, and a quick update, by the way. Friday originally was an enhanced risk, but we had been talking since last night how parameters seem to have been kind of downtrending, and that downtrend has kind of continued throughout the day. I mentioned that in this morning's video, or this morning's video. And now we have dropped to the point where we actually have dropped the enhanced risk. We're now at a slight. But as for tonight, nothing's really changed. We're still dealing with the 5% tornado threat. We got our 30% wind and also our hail threat. We've had, I think, at least one warning that was tagged for hail above 2 inches in diameter. And I think this is the one right here. No, it's actually back here. Yep. And this also has radar indicated winds up to about 70 miles an hour. This was that storm that we were looking at just a little bit earlier that actually shown some pretty impressive looks on velocity there. We'll go ahead and switch over to that radar real quick and kind of go on from there. But yeah, tonight's slated to be a pretty busy night. By the time we get into tomorrow, really the main threat I think is going to be more so hail. There is a pretty broad 2% tornado threat tomorrow. I think it will maybe be enough for us to go live again, but I'm not quite expecting as much intensity from these storms. I really think tonight might be the real peak here. Alright, so right here, yep, there's where our 70s are. It's these little bright colors right here, these little hot spots, if you will, where we have those 70-mile-per-hour gusts possibly coming in. The real question at this point is any of that mixing its way down to the surface. Because one thing about the radar is we can look up higher into the atmosphere, but once we get really below like 1,000 feet, especially by 500 feet, it gets a little bit tougher to tell. That's why when we get those tornado warnings, they often will start out as radar indicated more often than not, unless you have ground truth. That's why, because radar, as great of a tool as it is, the way that the Earth's curved, it's just really hard to get a good look at what's going on at the surface, and that's really where everything counts. That's the one thing that we are forever trying to work our way past. It wouldn't surprise me, however, with the way that that's set up, that we could get an observed tag with this in due time. Now that's two parameters I look at for hail as far as the radar is concerned. One is VIL, vertically integrated liquid, and of course if we look at this here, values are pretty much maxed out once you get into these dark purple and magenta-esque colors here. One other feature is the hydrometer classification, and it's these red colors where the hail threat, where it's a little bit more of a rain-hail mixture, and maybe even large hail. Seems like the northern storm has the larger hail now, though, based off what I'm seeing. And that's what's going on with our strongest storm right now. Go ahead and just kind of put this in a loop and keep things rolling. Just really trying to figure out how to warm up for right now on this. I guess for right now I'll take that off the bottom left corner of the screen here. That's not much of a game. Of course, it's preseason, so it doesn't matter. I'm checking scores here and there in regards to the NFL. I mean, I know it's the preseason, but I love watching me a little bit of football. Okay, so I'm doing that wrong. I'm trying to get that note to ring right here. This note right here. And then I have to shift here. It's a cover I'm working on. Trying to bring back the other channel too. Managing two is not easy. I put a lot of time into this one, so I'm trying to find a balance for both. And then also trying to find balance to work on my other projects. Ah, so my team plays Saturday. Okay, cool. All right. Well, looks like we lost. No, we didn't lose that 65 mile per hour tag. I think that's the one that actually got bumped up to 70. A little fun fact here. Of all the severe thunderstorm warning tags for wind that are used, 65 miles an hour is actually the one that's used the least. I might bring that up again in a future video poll. Who knows? So if anyone's watching now and we do another stream in the next few days, which we probably will, you might want to take a side note of that. Maybe you'll win maybe you'll win a badge or something. Maybe even a membership. If only I was balling like that. I'm trying to figure out what else I can play in this tuning. Let me think. Okay, here we go. Got our first tornado possible tag, and it's for the storm up towards the north. We're starting to get into that spot where we're starting to see a little bit more energy become available for these storms, so this is where we would start to expect a little bit of a ramp up in activity here. Like I said, I think we started the stream maybe an hour early, but since we're here now, there's really no point in going away. We're just gonna hang out here and see what's what. So let's see what the velocity is with this. Looks like towards the back end there might be a little bit of a notch that's trying to develop here. Rotation at this point is pretty broad, but I would say outside of Flaxen or Flaxton is where we have maybe the beginning stages of some intensifying rotation here. So we'll see how this develops, and maybe with this we might end up even getting our first tornado warning of the stream. Guess since it's slow, I want to try to find some soundboards or make my own soundboard as well. One thing that's kind of irritating is trying to figure out how to make a soundboard on here. That's been one of my biggest problems. I want to make one where I can just use a hotkey to sound the siren instead of having to go through the process and click the click Windows Media and do that. The setup, even though it's growing, it's still pretty rudimentary. Caveman, if you will. definitely kind of has that, but definitely kind of has that DIY feel at the very least. Just like how this storm has that bounded weak echo region feel. So if a tornado does form with this, it's more than likely going to be wrapped in rain. It's a pretty nice supercell, by the way, that's north of the border here. I wonder if there's any Canadian chasers that are on that, or if anyone's just north of the border going after action here. Okay, so here's our meso discussion. This was issued about 8 minutes ago. So we can actually expect a watch to be issued here very soon. I kind of lean into it maybe being a tornado watch. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being a severe thunderstorm watch instead. I would truthfully prefer that over a tornado watch, because I think the main threat really is going to be damaging winds, but tornadoes are definitely possible in this environment, especially the further south you go. So kind of up in the air as to what actually we will get, but I think for safe measure I'd bet my money on a tornado watch, even though it's money that I don't have. Huh. Trying to think here, what could I play on here that wouldn't also get my stream taken down? That's what really sucks with all of this. I know you're tired of seeing me play Bellacore on here, even though I love the band. Gotta change it up sometimes. Yeah, that's gonna take a little second to learn. If you knew what I was trying to play, well, just guessing in chat, screw it. Probably played it too bad for anyone to really know. Uh-oh. Speaking of which, chat actually got disconnected. It definitely looks like it's trying to get its act together. It's taking its sweet time. Waiting to see when the next radar scan comes in. I'm really interested in this storm's evolution as we go forward here. I don't know what I could play. Yeah, that didn't go well. Let me just play some metal. Screw it. Wrong scale. I can't pinch or monitor anything right now. What's up, Torex? Looks like we start, yeah, like I said, I think we started maybe about an hour too early. That started to take an interesting characteristic for a brief moment here. I think this is going to end up getting swallowed up by that main line, but I do think there's a small chance that this could try to do a sneaky little thing. I think damaging winds are still going to end up prevailing with this one. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised that if this thing progresses the way that it's doing right now, that we'll see a gust front begin to emerge here shortly. Yeah, because that rotation's starting to broaden out. I'm starting to see more winds going towards the radar too, which leads me to believe there's going to be some outflow coming from this too. So that gust front might come. And we're on the right radar site too. Still probably going to keep that tornado possible tag. Yep. So the new warning is out. We have up to golf ball sized hail possible with this as well. I think I remembered an old Metallica song that I learned like way back when. Let's see if I can remember that next riff. remember that next riff. I do not blame this tuning enough. Do not play in this tuning anywhere near enough. The thing is, I actually kind of like it too, so it's kind of silly. Yeah, I can't remember that to save my life. See if I can remember this riff. I think he has like a lower tuned guitar, probably a 7-string, so I can't play that. I'll need more time to learn that, but I'm kind of figuring it out. I might grab some food real quick while I'm at it and just kind of chill back. Obviously, it's a slow start, but like I said, we started a little early. So basically a quick rundown before I take a step away here, maybe grab some food. We basically have a handful of severe thunderstorms right now. I expect business to kind of pick up a little bit later. Probably within the next hour or two, we're really going to start to see these storms begin to flare up because the amount of energy that we have available towards these areas really starts to go up as we go further into North Dakota. Instability over towards Montana is a little bit more on the marginal side, but still sufficient enough along with the other parameters we have in play. But I would expect storms to really start blowing up as we get towards this area, because all throughout the night we're going to continue to see an ample amount of instability available. In fact, we're kind of sitting, like if we were to actually look at the current time, let me actually go back to the HRRR here and show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. Make sure I have the newest data available to me. But if I were to go ahead and show you the amount of energy we have here, look at that. It's about our current time frame right here. Look at how much energy we have in North Dakota right here. Easily pushing 5,000 joules per kilogram at Cape. The storms are a little bit further to the south of that. And if we go through these few scans that I do have available at this latest run, we're going to continue to see that cape be available and actually head into those storms. So this is going to kind of be feeding into the severe threat as we go throughout the evening here. So it's a pretty stout environment, if I were to say so myself. So as we get later into the evening, these storms are only going to ramp up. So like I said, it's a slow start now, but it's really the proverbial calm before the storm. That being said, I'm going to take a little moment here. I will be right back. Alright, we're back. New scans coming in for later this evening and into the overnight. So this is a really good example of what I was talking about earlier. If I can get this to move. Okay, there we go. So right along the edge of this is where the storms are and a frontal boundary that's going to be associated with it. And as a result, you can see how the cape eventually starts to die out as we get later into the overnight, but still the amount of energy that we have available out ahead of the storms is really impressive. By the time we get towards about maybe even 5 a.m., we still have about maybe 3,500 joules per kilogram in cape in our main area of interest here. So these storms, once they really start to take root, which it looks like they're already starting to do, it really begins to kind of ramp up from that point and maintains itself beyond there. Also, since we've been back, we now have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect. Now, it's kind of leaning towards maybe the possibility of there being a tornado watch, but I think I actually agree with this a little bit more when I really think about it. It's kind of one of those deals where, yes, tornadoes might be possible, but I think the overall setup definitely leans more into straight line winds more than anything else. If we still were to get a discrete supercell, which I'm finding less likely by the minute, then I would go as far as to say maybe put out the Tor watch, but I think this is the right call. I definitely agree with the SBC on this one, for sure. Oh. Alright. Body armor next to me for now. You see if that low-level jet is kind of retreated further to the south. So I've been noticing a trend with that too lately, so this could be one of those situations where this downtrends as well as Friday. This downtrends, and we might not even go live Friday at this rate. Yeah, that has dropped off quite considerably. Looked way better last night. Oh dear. I'll hang out for a couple hours and see what happens with this. Or about another... I'll give it about another hour, then kind of go from there. We'll see what happens with this. Weather might have been a pump. We might have been pump faked by model data here. I'm hoping that's not the case, but that happens from time to time. So what else? There's something else I think I was looking for on here. Okay, so that's what's going on there. The tropics, nothing special to go up over there. Okay. See what we got going on with the game right now. Nothing special there. That's looking a little bit more interesting right here. I'm interested to see how this develops. If this somehow breaks down into supercells, that might increase that tornado threat. Corey doesn't find these storms appealing, just a big mess. He was hoping for supercells, and they would be more towards the central part of this state here. They still got a good bit of sunlight left, about at least another hour or two before it fully goes dark. Yeah, it looks like this is taking its sweet time to really organize into the threat that I would anticipate it to be. Or the threat that it could potentially be. looks like some artifacts in here, maybe some interference going on there, but yeah, so far I haven't been impressed by anything I've seen yet. This might be the only thing that kind of piques my interest here. We'll see if this ends up verifying and maybe becoming something, because that looks a little bit more interesting. Sheesh. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot. There's not a whole lot going on here yet. Just checking some stuff on my PS5 real quick. I ain't even playing a game. I'm Just trying to complete an update here so that way I can move on with my life. Well, not gonna lie, it might be one of those times where it really picks up probably overnight. I might just hang around, and I might just probably log off and then come back on if it gets active. Just kind of be on standby. Kind of uncertain as to what I actually want to do. But as it stands right now, we're staying on the lower end of the spectrum. The storms are going to intensify. They're at severe limits, and I expect things to ramp up, but I think we just started too early. Seems like the storms to the north are the dominant storms too. And that's where we have less cape available from what I've been seeing, so those storms to the south can't get going. That really might kind of take this threat down a peg and probably have it as a slight risker, that just like with tomorrow. Everything just seemed like it was in position until today, and now it's just kind of showing as it's like out of it. It's more of a situation where we're out of position when it comes to parameters. At the end of the day, that's ultimately a good thing, but I'm not going to tithe any of your time, any of you all's time, by doing that. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what the models have been showing here in the last little bit. So, and then probably what that will probably log off for now. Alright, so of course we're going to have the full screen up here, and then we're going to put the smaller screen here. If I can get this to work, that is. What's going on here? Where is my where's the smaller screen at? What the heck? Oh, there it is. Yeah, good. Alright, so we talked about the cape, we talked about the low-level jet. This is basically what the radar is expected to look like as we go later into the evening. You can see these blobs of storms here. Almost a linear mode trying to develop, but again, towards that northern mode, there's a little bit less instability. Instability will continue to feed into the storms and allow them to continue to grow, but the best parameters for severe weather are a little further off towards the south. By the time we start to get to development to the south, it's going to be well past midnight. It looks like it's going to be past midnight, actually. These storms right here do look like they become pretty impressive by the time we get towards maybe about 1 or 2 a.m. And at that point, I think that's when things might get rolling here. But I think as of right now, where we were on the lookout for any supercells, I don't think we're going to be getting them in this case. So I think it might be a smart idea to end this stream now and be on standby for another within the next few hours. Maybe even get a little power nap. Because again, probably by about 1 or 2 central is when I would expect storms to really start to ramp up here. Now, what would be really funny is I go offline and then all of a sudden I have to go back on within the next hour because the storm said, hey, I don't take kindly to the fact that you say that I'm weak. You've doubted me. I'm going to make you pay. Mother Nature has done that to me a few times. But we're going to take our chances here. I don't want to waste power for 3 hours. So, on that note, maybe we'll see you later tonight. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Till then, everybody, have a good night.